Additionally, certain industries have continued to show their resilience even amid the pandemic. The logistics and supply chain industry is one such example. This sector is an indispensable enabler of the global economy, ensuring the flow of goods within the country and across country. Most importantly, medicine and food continue to operate smoothly.
Candidates go for job interview and so on. Companies are looking for people that have got what we call the transformation mindset. But in the logistics sector, all right, the transformation mindset have got only one word. I think for logistics, it's very important to have that skill set of what we call integration.
I would think that getting basic knowledge of what RPA is, robotic process automation, understanding the difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning, don't just listen, right? And then autonomous technologies, automations, robotics, I mean, these are all terminology. You read, you think you know, you actually don't know. And then go and find out more. One of the best way to learn is not just to read from Google. Google has too much information. And we have many courses. I mean, the CCs run courses as well.
But what are the various logistics activities? Well, it includes, for example, customer service. Customer service is a very key area in logistics, right? How do we take care of customers? Demand forecasting. When you run a factory, how do you plan for demand? You need specialized special skills in doing demand forecasting, because if you do it badly, you end up with big surplus of goods. You do it wrongly, shortage, you run out of stock. And both will kill the company, all right? At the same time, you got inventory management, you got order processing jobs, you got parts and service support, warranty support, in logistics, you got procurement, buyer, you got a vice president of procurement. Every year, if you can save 10% of the raw material, it can be millions of dollars. So these people are paid very, very well.
I would say that basic knowledge needs to be, you need to get basic knowledge. So what is basic knowledge? What is warehouse management? What is air freight management? What is sea freight management? What is multimodal transport management? Trade compliance, understand what is trade block, trade regulations, trade facilitations. Those are basic knowledge. Those are must-have. So if you don't have it in the industry, you want to join the industry, it is only about what? 1 to 3 months program, and what Roger says, you can find it everywhere else.
One of the suggestions is that you can turn to our NTUC UPME career coaches for help. Our career coaches specialize in coaching our PMEs to equip them with a mindset through various services such as career development workshops and job preparation courses. Do feel free to make an appointment to meet our career coaches so that you can explore what are some of the opportunities there are in this particular sector.
Big hellos to everyone tuning in, and a special greetings, especially to people, the residents of Radin Mas. My name is Audrey Lim, and you're right on time for tonight's special panel discussion on jobs and opportunities in the nursing sector. We are broadcasting live from Radin Mas CC, and we're going to be speaking to the best brains in this section of the healthcare sector this evening, who will lift the veil for us on this most important section of the healthcare industry in Singapore. Now, between our rapidly aging population and the present COVID-19 pandemic, demand for more healthcare workers is at a new high. With plenty of jobs, traineeships, and skills training opportunities in the healthcare sector to fulfill the current and future needs of Singapore, you have come to the right place to find out more. By the end of this hour, you'll discover what it takes to be a part of the nursing industry, what your career progression plans could look like, and you'll hear our panel of experts talk about real issues like how much remuneration to expect. Along the way, we'll also take down some common misconceptions about a career in nursing and get real insights into what makes this industry tick. Tonight's panel will cover 3 main topics that you need to know about. Topic number 1, what are the opportunities in the nursing sector? Topic number 2, how do you enter the nursing sector? And topic number 3, what does it take to be a nurse? We'll also be taking questions from the audience at the end of the panel discussion, so keep your questions coming in by commenting on this live stream, and we will get to your questions with our esteemed panel of experts at the end of the session. But first, let us introduce these panel of experts. First up, we have Ms. K. Thanalechmi. Now, Thana is an elected Vice President of the NTUC Central Committee and the President of the Healthcare Services Employees Union. Thana is also Vice President of the Executive Board of the Singapore Council of Women's Organizations and sits on numerous other agencies, such as serving as the board member of NTUC Health. After serving as a nominated Member of Parliament from 2016 to 2018, Thana was awarded the National Day Award Public Service Medal in 2019. Next to her, we have Miss Samantha Ong. Now, Samantha is the president of the Singapore Nurses Association and is chief nurse at the Institute of Mental Health. She is also a member of several committees, including being a member of the Nursing, Education and Development Advisory Committee with the nursing schools. She has co-authored clinical practice guidelines and research papers and contributed chapters on psychiatric nursing to books on mental health, all the while being a strong advocate of psychiatric recovery and rehabilitation. In 2019, Samantha received the highest honor in the local nursing profession, the President's Award for Nurses. Next to her, we have Associate Professor Edward Poon. Now, Edward is an associate professor at the Singapore Institute of Technology. After beginning his nursing career in the 1980s, Edward rose to the position of Director of Nursing at Dover Park Hospice in 1999 and later became the Joint Director of Nursing at the Hospice Home Care and Inpatient Care. He is a known expert in palliative care, conducting research on sociological support in hospices, having written numerous articles related to palliative care and end of life. In 2004, Edward was awarded the President's Award for Nurses and the Healthcare Humanity Award. And finally, a man who clearly needs no introduction because you've got a 50% chance of watching this on his Facebook page. Here he is, the Associate Secretary General of NTUC, the Member of Parliament for Rading Mas, and your host for tonight's panel. It's Mr. Melvin Yong with his opening address.
Thank you very much, Audrey, and a very good evening to everyone joining us on Zoom and Facebook Live this evening. Today's panel discussion is the third part of our new monthly webinar series and the last one for this year, where we discuss and highlight job opportunities in growing industries amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, there are good jobs, there are plenty of jobs available despite the very challenging economic climate right now. Since we started this initiative in October, we have spoken about job opportunities in the supply chain industry and the digital marketing sector. This evening, the spotlight will be on our healthcare industry, in particular the nursing profession. The healthcare industry needs little introduction with the pandemic raging on for close to a year already. Many nurses across Singapore went beyond the call of duty, putting aside their personal fears and working together with fellow Singaporeans to respond to the rapidly evolving situation while ensuring that patient care is not disrupted. On behalf of many fellow Singaporeans, I would like to take this opportunity to express my deep appreciation to all our nurses, many of whom are still fighting COVID-19 in the front line, even as we speak right now. Thank you all very much for your resilience and your dedication to duty. With a rapidly aging population, our healthcare industry is set to expand. The Ministry of Health recently announced that close to 7,500 jobs and 1,600 traineeships, job attachments, and skills training opportunities in the healthcare sector will be progressively offered to Singaporeans from now till the end of next year. Of the 7,500 full-time job positions, about one-third are for healthcare professionals, in particular nurses. So this evening, we are very privileged to have with us three very distinguished industry veterans, Ms. Thana, Ms. Samantha, and Associate Professor Edward. They will tell us more about the job opportunities in the nursing sector and what does it take to be a nurse. So without further ado, I'll pause here and hand the time over to our panelists. So back to you, Audrey.
Thank you, Melvin, for contextualizing this panel discussion that we're about to have. We'll move straight into the first of the three main topics we promised you. Topic 1, what are the opportunities in the nursing sector? Now, I'm going to very quickly pass this question along all three of our guests. Question the first, what is the most interesting trend in nursing that you've noticed over the past 5 years?
Yeah, if you're looking at me.
I am looking at you, Tana. Let's start with you.
Okay, I've been in the union for almost more than 30 years, and I've seen the trend in terms of career prospect and career advancement in nursing. In the beginning, it started with a generalist mode of profession.
Right.
Very generalist, nurses will do A to Z. But along the way, nursing has really profoundly progressed and transformed into more specialization.
I see.
And that gives a lot of value add and value creation to nurses in managing patients, in treating patients. In fact, we have such a thing called advanced practice nurse that has evolved over the recent years, that they take on the first line diagnostic role of doctors.
Oh.
So that is a real transformation. And I think those people who are interested in nursing has got a lot to look forward to.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Samantha, what about you?
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Okay, I guess for the past 5 years, something very heartwarming. Okay, the intake for nurses at the nursing school actually has increased.
Great.
Okay, so we can go as many as about 2,000 student nurses that actually join us. So I think this is really the good effort of Ministry of Health. They really go all the way to able to project the image of nursing and be able to tell people how a wonderful and professional career this is. The second thing, like Ms. Tana mentioned, actually, nursing is no more the traditional nurses already, whereby we are actually bedside, taking care of the patient. And nurses are going into a lot of innovations, are going into a lot of technologies, working with automation, and also going into a lot of things like quality improvement. So these are some of the things that is actually going on in the nursing industry now.
Amazing. And I noticed that you in particular, you've been very keen on getting your nurses to continually improve themselves, to go away and arrange for greater training. So there's so many opportunities for you to go beyond these are not the nurses of your grandfather's generation, basically. And what about you?
Okay, I look at the long-term care and the community.
Yes.
And while Mervyn talked about the aging populations, and we also knew that there's a lot of nursing homes coming up, and we need a lot of nurses in there. And again, nurses don't have to to work in the hospitals, but I think there's another new grounds that we wanted to get more and more nurses working in the communities, because they're not just only running nursing homes, they got community and healthcare posts, and there's a lot of things they can do as a nurse to make an impact in life to whether the older generations or anybody in the community itself. So I think it's a very important thing for nurses.
So important. So for our audiences at home who might have no background in nursing at all, tell us, what does career progression look like in the nursing sector?
Maybe I can.
Yeah, go for it, Samantha.
All right. Well, just look at me. I started with it as a junior nurse many years ago. Wouldn't tell you the years because you know my age, okay? So actually, first of all, even if people who are graduated from schools, they can actually join nursing directly, straight into what we call diploma in nursing. That's in the polytechnics. If not, we have degree in nursing. But we also do have, for mid-career switch, and there are many scholarships that actually people can actually go and apply from MOH. But I guess it's from that whole journey onwards, there are so many exciting things that can happen. You can be an enrolled nurse, you can be a registered nurse. Even with an enrolled nurse, you can actually upgrade yourself and go for diploma in nursing and eventually become a registered nurse. And the whole career development and the career path, I think you'll take me the whole night to talk about it.
Okay.
And eventually, well, I guess, after a while with a lot of hard work, passion, and eventually a chief nurse, in a hospital. And of course, we have a chief nursing officer that's in a MOH. And there are many career tracks I can talk about.
So maybe, Samantha, at this point, because I've been interacting with a lot of nurses, thanks to Sister Tana, what are the differences between the the different terminologies that we hear about nurses. I think you mentioned a few. So like your enrolled nurse, registered nurse, staff nurse. Are they all the same, or actually they are different terminologies along the journey of a nurse? So what do we start off with?
Okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. So you can start off with an enrolled nurse, or you can start off also with a registered nurse. But you need to go for an enrolled nurse, you need to go for a 2 years course, okay, and it's offered at ITE. And for the registered nurse, you need to go for a 3 years diploma course. They offer actually at all the polytechnics, actually in NYP and MP.
Yeah. So perhaps I can just add in.
Yes.
Please,
I think
please.
Samantha is absolutely right. I think there is a differentiation based on your entry qualification. If your entry qualification you don't get that kind of credit, it doesn't matter. You can go the longer route, that is, go and register yourself ITE and become an enrolled nurse. Becoming an enrolled nurse, I think once you graduate after 2 years, you can easily fetch probably about $1,800 per month, which is a decent sum of money after graduation from ITE. That's a basic. And after that, if you're ambitious enough, you can even be sponsored to do diploma in nursing, or some of them will want to self-sponsor. And once they have graduated, obviously they are now licensed to do practice nursing, and they are licensed by Singapore Nursing Board. And that is a great accreditation, and your salary can go up to about 2,000 plus, 2,500 without any allowances, added shift allowances, and that I think you can get decently about 2,800 and so. So, and that is the differentiation. Enrolled nurse and registered nurse. Enrolled nurse are registered at SNB, and registered nurse actually have license to practice.
I see.
And after that is actually promotion. So it is a job grade that give you advancement, career advancement. So from staff nurse, then the journey is all about advancement, how skillful you are. Do you take postgraduate diploma program to specialize in certain specialty, and you grow your way up to staff nurse 2, staff nurse 1, senior staff nurse 2, senior staff nurse 1, nursing officer, and you can climb up to chief nurse. Okay?
Which is where we've got with Samantha. Edward, I understand that you've taken a very different route almost, because you started in the nursing sector and then you moved onto the leadership track. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
The thing is that there's a lot of tracks, as what Samantha have just said again. There's a clinical track that most of us will start off with, and then after that you move on into like whether you do education, you do management, and then of course the latest trend we have the research track that we are quite interesting to look at, because we are producing researchers, and it's not just like doing basic work in here, but we are upskilling all the credentials of the nurses as well. Even for ENs, they may think that people come from IT, but when they go into the workforce, they are upgraded to do even higher skills in here that we are all working on to actually enhance their skills itself. So this is how we function again in here. Yeah.
So Edward, what I hear is that whatever point you enter, actually that's just the starting. And you can literally jump across tracks. You can move on to the different tracks, and you can continue to progress. Right? So there's no, if you enter through this, and you only get one pathway, right?
No.
I got a lot of students, a lot of successful stories in my students. They are from the ITEs.
Right.
And then now I'm teaching SIT. They are my students again. So they are doing a degree from ITEs all the way up. So the future is very bright. It's not that you will be there and then, that there's end of it. There's no end in here. As long as you wanted to move and persevere, the sky is the limit.
That, and they couldn't get enough of you as a teacher, so they had to go get their degree just so they could get a little bit more of Edward in their life. The next question that we have is quite interesting, because a lot of people didn't know that there was more than just the clinician track. There's also, as you mentioned, the research track and so on. So for people at home who are considering joining the service, a basic question: where will their workplace be?
Okay, it depends again on, are they going to take a scholarship? Okay, or they self-sponsored in the first place. So there's these two group of people I always look at. If you are sponsored by MOHH, you got a scholarship, then they will really tell you where is your workplace. Is it going to be the hospitals? Because there's also a community scholarships that you can get, and you may work in the communities, maybe in the nursing homes or the hospitals or the staff. And then you got the one that is free to move around because I'm paid on my own fees, and they can choose anywhere they want to go, from the hospitals to the hospices to the nursing homes. It's their choice. So the buffet is pretty large in here.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything to add to that?
Yeah, if I may say, there's community side and also the public healthcare sector.
Yes.
The public healthcare sector has got not only hospitals, they got specialty centers, and they also have polyclinics. So it depends on, most often young staff nurses, especially those sponsored by the hospitals,
Yes.
they actually do fulfill their bond requirements in the hospital. And thereafter, I think they will decide to stay on. Most of them decide to stay on. Some of them may want to look at other pastures, but it is a free will, what they want to do, what they desire to do, whether they want to be a nurse manager managing the ward, or they want to be a nurse clinician, more to patient's bedside and looking after their clinical needs, or they want to be a nurse educators, educating the future of nursing cohorts, the next nursing cohorts, or going to the this institution, education institution to teach. So they can be teachers as well. So it depends on what they desire to do, and what is their ambition and passion is all about.
So that's a whole array of options that are open to you if you are keen on getting your feet wet in this industry, but you're not immediately sure what specific area you want to specialize in. As everyone has mentioned already today, the sky's the limit. You can already see the rough idea where you could go, but you can always know that you can start on one track, move on to the other, and no one is going to fault you for it, because there's just that much flexibility in this huge industry that you are now learning all about. Now we're closing topic 1 with a lightning round. Now during this lightning round, I will ask a question of each of the panelists, and they have to answer, or try to answer, in just one sentence.
Wow.
Panelists, are you ready?
Yep. We'll try.
Question the first, and we're going to start on the end and work our way back in. What is the biggest misconception that people have about nursing? Edward, go.
It's for nurses. It's for females. It's just for females. I'm a male.
That's what I wanted to say. Okay.
Pick another one, Samantha. Pick another one.
Yes. Nursing is a dirty job, but actually it's not. It is not just a dirty job. Actually, there's a lot of many meaningful things that you can do
Fantastic.
being a nurse.
Dana, what about you? Biggest misconception.
Nursing is a low-paid job.
So we're all going to get a ride home from her private jet after this. So it's not a low-paid job. Okay, so if you're listening at home, these are the 3 key myths that we want to bust. We're going to go on to another question in the lightning round. We're going to start with you, Dana. What is the proudest moment of your working life? Okay, maybe we can get 2 sentences.
I would say that I'm a manager by profession, and I would say that as a president of Healthcare Services Employees Union, I take pride in serving the 2/3 of my membership, that is close to 20,000 nurses.
Wow.
Who are in their profession, who are growing, who are passionate about what they are doing, and I'm happy to serve them. That's my proudest moment. I've been doing this serving for the last 25 years in the union, and I've seen nurses, that grow from junior rank to senior rank to chief nurses, and that's really fantastic when I see them, because some of them, I had to motivate them to go into nursing profession. Why? Because they were formerly an ECG technician. They did a career switch. They went into nursing profession. At first they regretted, but then it was a lot of motivation from the union that they actually were successful in completing the course in ITE, in NYP, and finally become a successful nurse. Now they don't want to look back.
That's fantastic, Dana, bringing
move on and look
inspiration, moving forward, and moving on to the person next to you. Maybe 2-3 sentences, since Dana gave us a quite a robust example. What is the proudest moment of your working life?
Actually, I'm just being proud being a nurse. I wouldn't say that.
Fantastic answer.
Yep. Yeah, I'm very blessed. You know, I think I have chosen the right career. So far, no regrets. You know, 34 years of my life, and I think every day, every moment is so different. I guess if you can really make a difference, and the meaning and the purpose is so different. So, I guess I'm just being very proud being a nurse.
Well said, Samantha.
Sorry, many sentences.
No, it's fine. Okay, you know what? We're going to list
short.
this requirement
Yes.
for one sentence, because I think everyone at home would be very, very interested to find out what makes you tick and what you guys feel so passionately about. So now that we've lifted the requirement for the three sentences are left, Edward, the proudest moment in your working life.
I got being conferred by the president to be the first male nurse to be awarded the President Award for Nurses.
Well
so
done.
That was the highest accolade
done.
for the whole entire nursing industry. It was really a surprise. You know, so I think it's quite proud.
And
My mom was quite proud.
shattering that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
So moving things forward is in all the different ways you can see how our three panelists have broken through what was assumed their path was supposed to be, and bringing light into the paths of people that they interact with, whether it's from a union perspective, whether it's from bringing more education into the people around them, whether it's directly speaking with students or just shattering gender stereotypes. These panelists have it all. So we're going to close topic 1 and the lightning round and move on to topic the second. How do you enter the nursing sector? Question first for Thana and Samantha. What options are available for people who are interested to enter the industry?
There are many options. If you are fresh from school, that means you have finished your secondary or O level, then you can decide to join, nursing, higher education in nursing, either whether it's IT or polytechnic. But if you are somewhat matured, you do want to do a career switch, then you have professional conversion program. You can actually switch within the sector. That means earlier I mentioned about ECG technician,
Yes.
working in the hospital, but they want to switch to somewhat a better career advancement with better prospect. Yes, they can do that, professional conversion program, or they can switch from one sector to another. Say you're from manufacturing sector, you decide to do service industry and you want to enter nursing profession. You can also be a matured student and go for nursing profession, and you'll be sponsored either by MOH or by the respective hospital, and you can move on.
So that's fantastic to know that nothing is set in stone. You will at every point have options open to you to see what suits you in your career. Now, Samantha, what are the options available for people who are interested to enter the industry?
I guess it's not difficult to enter nursing. The most important part of it is you need to really find out, okay, what is nursing all about, you know, and also psychologically in a way prepare yourself, because it is a challenging job. Having said that, it really requires a lot of skills, resilience, and also perseverance. And at the same time, I think it's also very important for your family to support your decision. You know, I think with family support, you can really go through the journey and you will be able to find the joy, you know, in selecting this career.
Yeah.
So important.
Just
Yes,
one
go
more
for it.
point. For nurses, for some reason they had a career break and they are still staying at home and not putting their skills not to work. Probably they can return to nursing, and there's a bridging course for them to re-enter the nursing
So
profession.
useful. Come back. We want you. If you've left, come back. These are all the reasons why you should.
Yeah, we
Now,
appeal to you.
all of you here on the panel with me are extremely storied and well regarded within your sector. I think everyone at home would want to know, what has helped you get where you are today? That's the first part of the question. And the second part of the question, what advice would you have for everyone at home who wants to follow in your footsteps down this path? Edward, what do you think?
I think it's the perseverance. You must know what you want and focus on what you want to achieve at the end of the day, and then you will reach there in the first place. So like you start off in 3 years, and it's a lot of perseverance in terms of studying in the first place. It depends again on where you are entering. If you are a mother and then you do a bridging course, you have to sacrifice. So the whole family support is very important.
Yes.
Okay, and the perseverance is very important.
Any specific advice for everyone at home?
Just focus on what you want to do and then just push it through.
Maybe I have a question. I've met quite a number of the nurses, and they tell me that there is a certain period of time at the beginning where it's a lot tougher. And beyond that certain periods, I think they get used to the system and the routine.
Yeah.
So roughly, what is that length of that period that we really need to get through that most toughest moment?
Okay, I think very, very important. All the students coming in, I mean, all the nurses coming into the workforce, the first 2 years, the first year is the toughest because you see, what happened in the school only trains you to be a nurse. The school didn't train you to be a staff nurse or an enrolled nurse. So you have to learn on the job. So the first year is really for you to adapt to the whole entire system, getting to know all these things that the school have never taught you. Okay, and then second year you became a little bit more experienced. You got the hang of it, so you know the tricks. Then the third year, I called it the harvesting year because you are already quite ripe. So you were probably too bored, and then we had to send you away for some course in the first place to upgrade yourself. So by 2 years, you should be quite okay. 3 years will be good.
And that's so true, because no matter what you are doing in your first year, you will always have that little hiccup trying to translate your theory into practice. So that 3-year to harvest situation, I think that rings true for anyone. So don't be intimidated because you haven't started on your nursing journey yet. You can, and they will tell you why. So Samantha, why don't we jump over to you? What has helped you get to where you are today?
I think there's one word, is actually commitment. You really have to commit to this. It's just like marriage or anything that you talk about. It's not easy, right? But with the love, actually the love for people, the love that you think that you're able to make a difference in the life of people, and like what I mentioned just now, it is not really a bed of roses. But if you have the attitude, okay, the attributes you want to serve, you want to learn, important things. You are telling yourself that there's so many interesting things, amazing things that you can learn. And then just now we're also talking about being a nurse is actually a life skill. I think Edward mentioned about that, It's whatever that you've learned, you can actually use it anywhere anywhere, Not only just in a hospital, at home, or even sometimes traveling. There are stories that, that people really need help, need medical help.
Yes.
And they always ask us, any nurses around, any doctors around, and you can help. That is the most important part of it. Yeah.
That was something that we were chatting about in the green room before we went live on the stream, about the innate transferability of the skills that you're getting here, that you can bring into all aspects of your life. So Tana, we're gonna round up with this question with you. Do you have any advice for people at home who want to journey down your path?
The advice is you have to know yourself, the attributes that you have.
Yes.
Whether you are the person who cares for people around you passionately and selflessly. That's important. In fact, this morning we were discussing some nursing matters with some of the nursing officers. One of the things that came about is you really need to carry the nurses to the tea room to make sure they have their meal for 1 hour. Because nurses tend to, they are so passionate about delivering their services to the patient, they rather go and grab a bite for 20 minutes and come back to serve the patient than to have a full 1 hour break.
Right.
So it is, we have many nurses who have got such attributes. But attributes is important, then you are lasting.
Yes.
You can last in the profession for a long time.
So it's not that you didn't choose the nursing life chose you. So what is the best resource, Samantha, for people who want to dive in deeper into nursing?
Well, I guess the first thing, if you can find a nurse, speak to a nurse.
Okay, reasonable.
And, I think this nurse will give you a lot of insight, Well, it kind of happens in such a way that nurse might say, are you sure? You need to think about it. Or, of course, most of them will say, yes, please, And they'll give you a lot of, success stories, meaningful journeys that they go through. And of course, if the more technical part of it is MOH website, I think there will be a whole list of, perhaps information that we can give you, where you can actually seek some of this information to look, where you can actually find.
Very cool.
Yep.
And we've got a question coming in from Zoom. So Edward, I'm going to direct this one to you.
Sure.
For people who want to deep dive into nursing a little bit more, how do they enter the non-clinical side of nursing?
Okay. So in order for you to enter into the non-clinical side, of course, the very basic, you still have to go through the whole entire course.
Right.
So once you finish, you graduated, then you can then start to choose. But I always say that get some years to do on your ground. Know your ground first before you do the clinic, before you do the management or the clinical side. Because once you know the ground, you will be able to do the other jobs much easier because you know the ground. So even till today, even though I'm at the management level, I still do my clinical stuff because you need to be in touch with what the ground is talking. Because if I'm on the ground, my staff cannot say you don't understand me. So I understand how you feel because I am on the ground with you. And then when you do the management, the policies, it really makes sense to them and they will accept it much easier. So yes, everybody wants to fly, but you have to get some of the experience, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, Sam?
Yeah, could I just add on that?
Of course.
I think clinical is really the foundation. It is really rooted you in terms of a lot of things. So it's the experience that you have, you know, and from there you can actually be a critical thinking nurse. That's what we're saying, you know.
Yeah.
And from there, then you can actually branch out to the many other areas. And branching out to the other areas, like what Edward says, you know, a nurse is a nurse. Clinical is so important to us. It's so passionate to us. Even now as a chief nurse, I will try my best even to take some time, you know, to go down to the ground. And then if I can, even to work a day, you know, at the ground. And which is so important.
Do you remember to have at least a 1 hour break in the tea room? So we're going to move, and I'm going to take that as a yes, hopefully, so you're not running yourself ragged.
When my nurses go for break, then I'll go for break.
I do have a question. I do have a question regards. I think earlier, Tana, you mentioned that quite a number of the nurses leave the service, right? And I think I did ask this question in Parliament recently, and the ministry put the figure at about 800 to 850 nurses leave the service annually.
Yeah.
But we also know that a few of them, after some time, would want to rejoin.
Yeah.
You know, they remember the time that they serve, and it's a meaningful job. But now that I hear from both Edward and Samantha, there's a clinical side to it that's important. How difficult it is for a former nurse to rejoin the industry, given that we do have quite a large number of them out there today.
I don't think it's difficult. As long as they are within the 5 years range, okay, and they still hold the license, it's okay. I think most of the organizations will take you in because I got a lot of students that they graduate and they became air stewardess. Singapore Airlines, they just fly. For 2 years, they come back.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I got students again who completed, became insurance.
Yeah.
And of course, I have classmates who, after a few years of marriage, then became mothers and then they just quit. But after their children are big, they come back. So it's not difficult to come back. And unless you are past the 5-year mark, then we got the return to nursing schedule. So the ministry have a whole range of people to attract them back. So it's not difficult to come back.
Yeah, just want to share that my niece actually left. She graduated from the nursing diploma, but totally don't want to be a nurse.
Oh dear.
And she left. She didn't even step into a nursing profession for about 7 years. She went to do human resource and many other things. Then one day she suddenly came to me and say, "Auntie, I want to get into nursing. How do I go about?"
So what was the advice?
And she navigated and she went through a bridging course.
Right.
Because she's more than 5 years, she had to go through a bridging course. Now she's a very successful staff nurse in one of the restructured hospitals.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah, and
How long is a bridging course?
And she's doing a degree in nursing now.
Very good. But just out of curiosity, how long does this bridging course that
It's about 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
That's not very long. So if you've already decided that you want to come back, 6 months to get back up to speed about what everyone is doing now versus what you studied back there, I think that's quite a reasonable amount of
The
time.
program is called Return to Nursing. That's a nice name, Return to
Return to nursing. It could be on a movie poster. Let's consider putting that on the poster. So we're going to move to a potentially awkward question. I think, Tana, you talked a little bit about this earlier. We're talking about remuneration now, dollars and cents, right? So what does the remuneration for nursing look like in broad strokes? I know you mentioned that you start out at, what was it, 1,008?
That's for EN.
Right.
For staff nurses, we have passed the mark 2,000. And it is important to know nursing is a profession.
Yes.
It's not just a job. And nursing as a profession, the salaries have been reviewed almost every year by Ministry of Health, because we want to keep ourselves competitive, and the union is there to ensure that it is done. So far in Singapore, an average, okay, if you are a nursing officer, you can easily get about, I'm talking about the low end, $6,000 per month, and it can go up further depending on at what point you are. But it is important that you need to have what they call that, the perseverance to stay on, to climb up the ladder.
Fantastic. I'm hearing that word a lot, perseverance, commitment. We're going to take a quick U-turn and revisit a subject that we just closed because a question has just come in on Zoom. I have left the nursing industry 17 years ago. Can I return? The MOH website says that 15 years is the maximum for the bridging program. Do we have comments on that here?
I think you can always write in, and then normally at this situation, we all need nurses. So the 17 years, as long as you wanted to come back, we will find ways to get you on board and speed it up in the first place. So I don't think there will be issues. As long as you were willing to come back and take on, there's a lot of programs ready to speed you up in here.
Go ahead, Samantha. You
I
got
always appeal. We can always appeal.
appeal, yeah.
But importantly, it's the inherent passion. You're really passionate about coming in.
Very
you really
good.
want to do it.
Yes.
So maybe you got to go through interviews and all that.
Go for it, Samantha.
Yeah, I just want to add on that the return to nursing program also will require you to be attached to a hospital. So actually, like what I would say, if you can get a hospital to say that, yes, we will take you in for the next 6 months, during this program, and I think that is the way to, convince MOH. I think MOH, well, they just put a guideline and regulation.
Correct.
I guess, yeah, you can do that. You try doing that. Go and approach your hospital, actually.
And then we can bring in the movie trailer voice to say, return to nursing.
Or we can approach Melvin.
Oh yes, I was going to say that the last resort, right to me.
Last resort, right to Melvin, yeah.
And then I'll refer to Tana.
If not, right to MOH, Chief Nursing Officer.
That's right.
She's amazing. She's very nice. Right to her.
What's her name so we know who to
She's
address
Miss
it?
Pauline Cole. Oh, she's going to. All right.
We
Sorry,
just-
Pauline. I know.
But it's very useful. So if you were the person who asked that question, take heart that you've got so many options open to you. And thank you, panelists, for managing to field her question. Now, we are moving on to... We've spoken a lot about the opportunities in nursing and what resources to tap on before you enter the nursing industry. We're going to breeze into our third and final topic. What does it take to be a nurse? So, Edward, what do you think are the most important attributes for this career?
Okay, I think the very important thing is here, the heart, the heart of serving, the heart of caring. Because if you don't have the attitude to actually serve, okay, and then I think you're not game in the industry, because it's about human connection, and you need to have that heart to connect to people. So I think that's the one major criteria I look at when I interview my nurses. If they interview and you don't sense there's a heart, I won't take them in the first place. Yeah.
That makes sense, because then they won't be happy and they won't last the course.
Yeah.
That's very important. Samantha, there were some people who had questions about whether their health conditions might count them out of a career in nursing. Do you think that's an important attribute to have? A 100% clean bill of health?
Well, I guess that there will be certain guideline in a certain extent, but I wouldn't say totally clean health in that sense, because even going to the schools to study, they do give you a medical checkup, and you do need to pass the medical checkup, because being a nurse is also can be, in terms of the working shift and things like that. So the health factors is also very important. Yeah, but it's not that if you have a medical condition means you cannot join nursing. Okay, you still can join nursing, even if you have a medical, depend on what medical condition you're talking about. Yep.
And as we discussed earlier, there are so many different avenues that you can serve in. So perhaps they might not pop you in the ICU, but they might channel you somewhere else where your skills can still be used, even though you might have a medical condition. So it does not count you out. What about you, Tana? What attributes do you think are the most important?
You need to love people. Love is important. If you love people around you, I think naturally you will desire to help and ensure that they get better is there.
Yes. That's all about heart, all about the human connection, all about caring, because nursing is a calling. It's not just a career, right? And we've got a question coming through from Zoom once again. Will my qualifications from overseas be recognized in Singapore? Because someone mentioned their master's was done in the UK and a degree done in Australia. What are recognized qualifications and what are not?
Okay, in the Ministry of Health website, there is all the approved universities overseas that that if you go, probably will accept again into the Singapore workforce itself.
Right.
But again, it's again by case. So you may come from Australia University that is not on the list, but when you appeal up and you send all the transcript and the transcript fits into what the Singapore SMB regulations, then voila, you are in.
Simple as that. So that's the broad strokes of what you need to know. If you're in doubt, go to the MOH website. And as we've discussed, there are so many working opportunities. If you write a really nice letter of appeal and send it to this nice man on my left, on your right, who knows, maybe we can make something happen. But going back to the attributes question, the personality questions of what it takes to be a nurse. Tana, what made you join nursing and what made you stay for so long?
I just need to correct, I didn't join nursing,
Right.
but I've served the nurses.
Serve the nurses,
Yes. I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a manager in the pharmacy. But importantly, I see the nurses, I interact with the nurses, and I had to work alongside with the nurses for medication. Am I right to say that?
Yes.
So I think I would say the attributes, again, going back to the basic attribute is, if you are going to enter nursing for the dollars and cents, I would discourage you from doing so.
Right.
Because yes, the salaries are attractive as you go up the ladder, but you will not last long.
Fair enough.
So you can go enter nursing for whatever intrinsic reasons, but not monetary reasons.
Amazing. That's a really good cautionary tale for people at home. Know yourself and know why you're doing what you're doing. Now, Samantha, there was a very interesting start to your journey in nursing. What made you join, for people at home who don't know your story, and what made you stay?
Oh, okay. Actually, I didn't choose nursing in a way when I was young. You know, I wanted to be a policewoman actually. Okay, so it was just like, okay, I need a job. Okay, I need to support my family. But lo and behold, I got into nursing, and it has been like 34 years, and there's no regret, you know. And indirectly, I thought it was just a calling, which I wasn't aware, you know. But it turned out to be great and amazing. So what else can I say?
I think this is related to the next question that we have coming in on Zoom, because you said that you've stayed for 34 years.
Yep.
And Edward, you've been in this since the 1980s. The question coming in from Zoom, as an ex-nurse, I left nursing due to burnout. Has the situation changed? Any one of my panelists?
Okay, it depends on what was the situation, because there's a lot of choice now that you can decide what you want to do.
Right.
And it's just not that you die must follow the richer time work schedule.
Right.
So if you wanted to contribute back to nursing, if you can contribute 4 hours, then we just give you a 4-hour shift duty. You want to do morning duty, we just give it to you. So the important thing, the whole landscape is changing. We need to bring all these people back, and we have to get this right, because their needs is very important. Once their needs are sorted out, they will be back to you. So that's what I would think.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Edward has said. I think the reality is nursing is quite a challenging job. It may be tough, but I think what is important is whether in today's setting, the organization is giving you flexibility.
Yes.
So there's a lot of flexible work arrangement at this point in time, where I think more and more organizations are giving a different permutation or shift patterns to nurses who are able to only, come to work at certain hour. So that is a real good progress.
Of course.
In fact, we have nurses who are part-timers, nurses who say that I want to only do permanent night, or I want to only do clinic office hours. So I think our human resource practitioners are now, they are also tuning in to the new generation's requirements and needs and preference, and they are tailoring nursing hours to the needs of these people as much and as best as possible.
And you were quite instrumental in helping that along with your work as an NMP.
We work very closely with human resource.
So well done to everyone here. So in answer to your question, yes, please come back. There are arrangements. Things have changed essentially. And with the flexible working arrangements, and I suppose COVID-19 has really made people understand that we don't all need to be in the same exact building at the same time for work to get done. So there's plenty of options. Come on back to the service and they'll tell you more.
So, can I just add on just one point?
Please, yes.
The organization, our hospitals, we are very into staff welfare.
Yes.
It's so important to us now, to motivate the staff, to keep the staff going. So I think we work very closely with human resource, with unions, to really see to the needs of the nurses, and not only nurses, I think everyone, the healthcare, the employee in the healthcare industry, because we realize, yes, burnout is actually a very serious issue. And during my days, those days, literally it was like we couldn't even have a voice, right? But now, okay, you can have a voice. There's platform for you to talk about it. There's platform for you to bring out your issues. So that is something that has changed.
Follow-up question to that, Samantha. What sort of benefits could new entrants to the profession look forward to? Besides, we talked about remuneration just now, but what other benefits could they look forward to?
Besides the flexible schemes, they do have, of course, medical benefits, annual leave, things like that. And many other things, uniform, shoes, and we have a lot of celebrations. That is, So I guess the leadership also we are changing. Last time used to be very hierarchy, the way that we do. Now we are really believing a lot of shared governance, collective leadership. And even as a chief nurse, I mean, those good old days, you cannot even reach out, right? They're just like at the ivory tower, I guess. But now, I don't know, I'm sorry. Oops, maybe my old matron may be scolding me. But I think it has to change.
Right.
You need to reach out, you need to be a model, a role model, and get your hands dirty so that the people at the ground, they can actually talk to you and feel comfortable to talk to you.
So recently, during one of my dialogue, I met a nurse who was sharing that she rejoined the profession at around 50 over years old, and she was saying that she did face quite a fair bit of challenges. So the question is there an age limit to joining or rejoining the nursing profession?
I think it depends again on their stamina. Okay, I don't think there's age limit not that they don't have, probably there is some, because we felt that the safety of them is very important, especially if they're at the 70s. You have to think very carefully, can they go on night duty? If they are physically very fit and medically being certified they are very fit, I don't see why, if they can manage have the stamina to move with it. Because some of my staff, my older staff is 80. She's still pretty strong. I got some of the peers that went to school at 60, which I've never seen in Singapore, because only overseas, but Singapore, they have 60s. We're bringing all these people, as long as you are willing to go in, okay, and have the passion and the drive, then we bring in. But the important thing is the management. We have to then start to modify how to sail through the career for you, because we may not let you do night duty unless you very daring demand, I must do night duty, then okay, that's your choice. But if not, then we will work out maybe more morning duties, more supporting roles, so that to ease you through the whole entire transition.
Amazing. So there's flexibility, and if perhaps the senior re-entry to the market prefers nights, they're more energetic at nights. There's something that everyone can work out for you. Now, final thoughts with for the panelists. So we're going to do it kind of lightning style, but not really. Same question for everyone. What one piece of practical advice would you give to someone starting out in the industry? Tana.
I would say that you need to have a job fit. You ask yourself what you want to be, what you are, and fit yourself into the job attributes that's available. If you're choosy on salary, then it will be tough.
I see. Samantha?
Well, for me, is you have to enjoy the learning journey. Okay, you have to enjoy everything. There's such thing called joy in work, enjoying the things that you do and find meaning in it. I think that is very important.
We're going to curveball poor Edward with a question that just came in through Zoom.
Oh, yep.
As an allied health professional, what skills do I need to widen my job scope to increase my opportunity for career advancement?
Just the allied health, is it?
Allied health, yes.
Allied health, yes.
So I think again it's going back to the practice again. The more you can actually go down to the field itself, then you will be able to see what is the need. So whether are we going to do more robotic kind of work, are we going to do more research and understand what is happening in here? Are we going to, how are we going to improve our skills, the quality part, getting the cheapest to do the most effective way. So these are the things that, we have to go in and play with it. The more you play with it, the more you were able to see what's happening on the ground itself. So I think that's the way, the approach for me is moving towards, because the sky is not the limit. So just play.
Yeah,
because we're going into space. Yes, Tana, go.
Probably I can just add in. I think in whatever profession, it is important to have continuous education, upskilling, where is required reskill. Why do I say? For instance, now the jobs entail people to be more savvy in data analytics. Okay, and looking at things, there's a lot of digitalization going on. Whether our healthcare professionals, they are ready for such element into their job. How prepared are they at whatever age they can be? So I think the continuous education and upgrading, reskilling is what union advocate all professionals to do.
Absolutely.
For nurses, they are actually blessed in a sense that the nature of the job itself and MOH regulation, SNB regulation, and all the new things that are happening, their pathway is already crafted up very well. Post-diploma, degree, and masters and all. But for other profession, I think they have to figure out what kind of upskilling do they want to do.
Of course.
So that is important. And the other one I also want to share to inspire people who are watching out there is that I have two examples. One is when the economy downturn happened in the past, I think in 2006, probably, I'm not too sure. But there was this accountant was 53 years old. He lost his job.
Right.
And he went to do, PCP, Professional Conversion Program, did a diploma and entered as a staff nurse. He struggled all his way for 1 year. And then the union helped him because he was doing a medical ward, which he's not able to cope. And so the union actually helped together with HR to move him to a psychiatry ward.
That's
to
straight
serve
into
the psychiatry patients.
Samantha's
Amazingly,
territory.
I just bumped onto him just a few weeks ago, and he's still doing very well, doing his postgraduate diploma in psychiatry, and doing perfectly well. He's so thankful. He's already past 60.
Wow,
Okay?
what an inspiration.
Yes. Then the other example is my union leader.
Yes.
She was a dental nurse.
Yes.
At the age of 60 years old, when she got no more family commitment because her parents passed away,
Right.
she wants to upgrade, and she entered nursing. So 62 years old now, and she just started out as a staff nurse.
So don't let anyone tell you that there's an age limit on these things. Someone at the age of 60 is picking up a new skill. Now, Edward, we've returned from the curveball. Do you have any advice very quickly for everyone at home?
I think it's literally able to dream. Don't give up, because at any time, always remember where you started off with. Just like when I started off, I always wanted to be the chief nurse kind of stuff. So I fulfill my goals and paved the way there. So don't give up. Just move on.
And on that very inspiring note, many thanks to the the entire panel for sharing their collective decades worth of knowledge and experiences across so many sectors of the nursing ecosystem. Now, we've taken a very quick sprint around what attributes would make you a good fit for the nursing sector, and we've heard practical tips for surviving and thriving in the scene that you have chosen. We've heard so many beautiful personal stories about why the panelists chose this tough but very rewarding industry for their own, and they've given us insights into what helped them stay the course. I hope you at home are now more aware of your options as you consider joining into this part of the healthcare sector. My name is Audrey Lim. Thank you for having me along for this discussion and bringing this session to a close. Here's your host with his concluding remarks. It's Melvin.
Thank you very much again, Audrey. And I think we certainly had an interesting discussion over the past 1 hour on the job opportunities, industry demand, as well as the career progression pathways in nursing. So as a form of a sum up, let me run by some numbers. So by 2030, that's in about 10 years' time, the number of Singaporeans aged 65 and above is projected to double to 900,000. That means 1 in 4 Singaporeans will be in that age group, up from 1 in 8 today. So what are we to do? What is the government plans? The government is already expanding our healthcare facilities to cater to this growing need. This would include 6 new polyclinics, more than 2,000 additional beds in public hospitals, more than 9,000 new beds in community hospitals and nursing homes, and 7,600 more places in both daycare and home care. So what this all means is that we need more healthcare professionals, we need more nurses. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to all our panelists, Ms. Tana Lechmi, Ms. Samantha Ong, and Associate Professor Edward Poon, for taking precious time to join us this evening, for sharing their very personal experiences and telling us a little bit more on how we can join the nursing profession. A very big thank you also to our moderator, Ms. Audrey Lim, for keeping us all on time and for guiding us through this evening's very fast-paced session. Next month, we'll be sharing more about the job opportunities in the esports industry. Ooh. So if you're a fan of the multiplayer online battle arena game Mobile Legends, you'll be excited to know that Singapore will be hosting the M2 World Championship next month. And we'll be inviting a professional esports player to be a part of our panel next month. So stay tuned to our UPME Center Facebook and LinkedIn pages for more details. So thank you everyone again for joining us tonight. See you next month. Good night.